I used to absolutely hate having to make small talk. Seriously, I was that guy that hid in another room because I was so nervous making small talk, especially with girls. Now, gents, don't feel too bad for me. Over the last 2 decades, I've gotten a lot better. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide so that you can learn how to make small talk easily. You ready? Let's do it. So first up, gentlemen, reframe the situation in your mind. A lot of us, when we're approaching these things, we think the worst. We're like, oh my gosh, people aren't going to like me. Somebody's going to look at me and just scream and run off. Really, I mean, this rarely ever happens. Most of the time, you just have a conversation. It may not be the most interesting one. It may not go anywhere, but you at least can have that conversation. And you have done this before. You can do it again. And that's another thing to think about. When has this actually worked out pretty well to your advantage? Some of you guys have met your significant other starting through small conversation. Other times, I know for me, I've got many business partners because I started these small conversations. When you start to think of it in that way, all of a sudden your mind is going to this place that you're feeling more positive about it. This is key, guys. Mindset, incredibly important. And on top of this, always know that you are worthy. I know so many of us, and me personally, I had an issue with this. I did not feel I was good enough, that I was trailer park trash, and therefore I wasn't good enough to talk about this men's style. I didn't know enough about it. I hadn't written all the books, and that didn't hold me back. I eventually started making connections. I found I have something to give, and each of us have something to offer the world. It may just be our story, but most of us have certain skill sets. We've got things that we have done over the years. We've got experiences that we can share with this person, and you're a good, valuable, strong person. Don't be afraid to go out there and just talk with people. So this next tip, very simple, very practical, but very powerful. And that is give yourself an escape hatch. Give yourself a way out. Oftentimes we feel this anxiety and this pressure because we feel trapped. So if you give yourself a way to escape that situation, boom, all of a sudden you've relieved a lot of pressure. I know for me, it's going to some of these events with my wife. I love my wife, but she's into different things. I don't always know the people of that situation. So what I do is I drive myself. We don't go together, even though we're driving literally 30 minutes, one direction. I'll just drive my truck. And she knows that I do this because if I don't want to be there, I'm not going to stay there the entire time. So give yourself that escape hatch, that ability to retreat, to get out of that situation. The next step, understand that small talk is necessary to get to deeper conversations. Now, the reason a lot of us don't like small talk is we want to get to the point. We feel it's a waste of time. Understand that conversation is like a ladder. You've got to climb it rung by rung. Seriously, imagine meeting somebody for the first time, and this is how they start the conversation. Why do you think God allows puppies to die? That's actually a pretty good conversation, especially for someone that's trying to make sense of everything that goes on in this world. But understand, if you're going to ask somebody that question, there needs to be a bit of a relationship here. Otherwise, they're going to think you're a crazy person. The point being is that light conversation, the chit chat, this enables us to kind of feel each other out, to get to know somebody better, so then you can ask those deeper questions. Now, these next two, I'm going to bring them together, and that is imagine that you really like this person and use positive body language. So you may not know them very well, but give them the benefit of the doubt. Actually say, you know what? I am sure that this is a great individual. And when you think that, guess what? You naturally stand in a way that you're not going to close them off, that you're not going to give them these negative signals, that you're not interested in them. And that goes right to the body language. So pay attention and look at the way your body language is. A lot of people, they don't notice that they oftentimes default to a standoffish, hey, I don't want to engage with you type of look. People don't necessarily say that they're talking with you, but all of a sudden, when they do something like this, you just feel removed from them. Now, this next point's not for everybody. It's a bit more advanced, and you've got to practice it without actually being creepy, and that is to mimic the other person. You don't need to overdo this, but small body gestures, don't be afraid to mimic what they're doing. So, again, if they've got their hands out like this, you can put your hands out like this as you're talking with them. If they go up and they put their hand right here on their chin, you could do the same thing. Most people don't pick this up, but what they do feel subconsciously is, I like this person. This person seems like me. People like people that are like them, and that's what you're shooting for. So this next tip, simple, easy, but so many people don't do it, and that's introduce yourself, especially if you haven't seen that person for a long time. If you don't remember their name, chances are they don't remember yours. Simply go up, say, hey, I'm Antonio, and I'm sorry, what was your name again? We've met before, and all of a sudden they will give it to you and find a way to remember it. Bonus point, if you've got a difficult to pronounce name or it's not common in the culture, make sure to make this easy for people to remember. My daughter, her name is Svetlana. Beautiful name. She got it from her grandmother. It means light bringer. I love it. But in the United States, very difficult for people to pronounce and to remember. So she goes by Lana. She tells people, oh, remember Superman's girlfriend? Well, this is my name. And yes, I know that Superman married Lois. I'm talking about his first girlfriend, Lana Lang. The next tip is have an easy way to describe your job that people can remember. So imagine you meet a guy and you ask him what he does, and he's like, oh, I'm an 0180 for 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. I work in the S1 shop. I've got my own platoon, and yeah, I'm looking to transfer over to the wing. Now, if you're in the Marine Corps, you understood that. But for the vast majority of the world, they're like, what the heck just happened? First up, don't use acronyms. Second up, think from their perspective. People are always thinking, hey, what's in it for me? How can you help me? And most of the time when you're talking about your job, you can't help them. But what you can do is make yourself referable, and you can explain what problem you solve. So the system I follow to being memorable is when somebody asks me, what do you do? I respond back with another question. Do you know how most men don't dress well? And that then leads me to how I solve that problem. I use YouTube to create videos to teach men how to dress better. I talk about I leverage the science of style, military history to make it relevant so they can earn more money and become the man they know themselves to be. And they now want to ask more questions because they're curious because they clearly understand the problem I solve. Next up, ask good questions. This seems so easy, but it's incredibly difficult because we have a tendency to not listen to people. What are we doing? Well, they're talking, but we're not listening. We are waiting for our chance to talk, so we've got something to say. Here's the deal. Take a step back, get over yourself, and listen to this other human being. Really listen to them. And when you can ask questions that pertain to what they just told you, all of a sudden you're going to stand out from everyone else. People want this. It makes them feel great. It strokes their ego that somebody actually is listening to their amazing stories. And when you start asking detailed questions, this is when it gets interesting. So many conversations are boring because you didn't invest in that conversation. But you can find amazing conversations anywhere if you're willing to listen and to ask better questions. Now, hand in hand with asking better questions is you giving better answers. A lot of times we're tired, we're lazy. Somebody asks, how was your week? And you just say, okay. What do they do with that? This person you just met, you just killed the conversation. How about you say, you know what? It was a pretty normal week. But on Tuesday, I took the day off and I didn't really think I could do it, but I changed out that light switch and that entire light circuit. I never thought of myself as a handyman, but yeah, that's probably the most interesting thing that happened to me this week. It's a little bit different. It's something that's honest. It's something that most of us can relate to. And all of a sudden you find that that person actually grew up doing repairs on houses. You find the conversation goes in a place that you didn't expect it because you gave that juicy tidbit. It doesn't need to be anything sensationalized. It's just a little bit extra in the story that's real that other people can connect with. Next, leverage the power of observation. If you're an introvert like me, we oftentimes are pretty quiet. We're sitting back and we're observing what's going on. Not only what people say, but what they also don't say. The way that they're dressed, the way that they behave, the way that they act, all those details going in. This is one of your superpowers as an introvert, is to be able to see things that other people are missing on. The body language, the details in the clothing, things that it wasn't even how did we get started talking about watches? You just noticed this guy is into the same brands that you love, and all of a sudden you find you've got something you can connect with them on. The next step for making small talk easy is to ask for their advice, especially if this is someone that has experience, that has basically an education in this particular field. When you ask for their expert advice, what you've done, you call them an expert. People love this. All of a sudden you're massaging their ego and they get to talk about something that they love. And it may be something that you're not that interested in, but you can find a way to make it interesting. Another simple, practical, yet powerful tip, gentlemen, turn the phone off. Even if it's on silent and it's in your pocket, it vibrates. Guess what? You were listening to somebody, you lost your train of thought because we are addicted to our phones. You want to go grab it. And sometimes without even thinking about it, you reach in there, grab your phone, check it, and you just realize you interrupted the conversation. Get rid of the temptation, turn off your phone when you're having a conversation with another human being. So what video to watch next? How about this one? Outdated style and etiquette rules. So many people are still following this rules. You don't need to. Guys, what are they? Check out this video and find out.